So, brothers, good morning. If I could like to ask Bishop Tom to open it up with morning prayers.
To give thanks to God again for gathering us together. So we think of Abraham in the first reading, how he placed his faith and trust in God. And as we continue our journey and our deliberations, we place the order and ourselves in the hands of our God. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Saint Andrew, Saint Columba.
Brother Dominic, have you got any housekeeping, please?
Good morning, brothers. Same as yesterday. Fire exits, they're over here. We don't have any cause for an alarm to go off. We go down the stairs and we head out the front door. Yesterday, the brothers were asked to take their voting cards away, and their wee yellow slips, a lot of the brothers haven't brought them back. So we've had to put out temporary ones at the moment with a wee white card. Make sure that you've got them raised so we can see them. And please keep all your mobile phones off and respect the chamber as we did yesterday. Thank you very much. Thank you, Our Supreme Knight.
Thank you, Brother Dominic. Okay, brothers, before we go any further, we have two birthdays today. Brother Alan Last, who's up the back end of the room, one of the stewards. Brother Alan is 85 today, and Brother Michael, where's Brother Michael? Is he here? Oh, he's on his way. So, many happy returns, brothers. Hope you have a nice day with that. Okay? Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much for yesterday and for last night. I hope you enjoyed the Scottish dancers, which was a bit different. I thought they were excellent. I thought Father Matthew was brilliant last night as well. Gave a lovely talk for the Jack McArdle lecture. So we had a great night. So we're going to carry on today, and the first up today is Brother Danny in membership. Brother Jeff. You beat Roger. How'd you manage to do that? Of course. And I can take mine off now. Is it one of them old television screens that have tubes in the back and we have to wait for it to heat up? And I know there's a few in here can remember that. Tommy does. The television's on at the back. We do have a lot of business to get through today, brother, so it's at the bottom. Sean, what's happening with the screen?
I'm already asked twice.
Let's continue. But we need to continue. I know you're going to have to. Okay.
Brothers, good morning.
Thank you.
Brothers, good morning. That one?
1, 2.
Brothers, good morning. No microphone and no screen. So far, so good, eh? Brothers, Danny O'Harkey, membership. Worthy Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, and esteemed guests who aren't actually in the room yet, but I've got the statistics, which is going to be on the screen for you, hopefully when the screen comes on later on. We're currently standing at 2,476 members. We're not doing too bad, brothers. Since I did this report 4 weeks ago, we've had about 20 brothers join the order. So a big thank you to Province 12 and Region 7, Province 30. Fantastic work. I've got to mention Province 3, where we are today. They're doing some fabulous work with membership. Fantastic. Province 10, always up the top, there and thereabouts. And also a shout out to Region 5, especially Province 9. They've had a fantastic end of the year. Excuse me. This year also, we welcomed 2 councils to our order. Council 989 in Wanstead, which is in Province 10, and Council 990 in Havant, which is in Province 14. My personal thanks to everybody who made these events happen. The Catholic Student Network, you'd have read in my bulletins, I'm quite an advocate for the Catholic Student Network. The Supreme Knight and I have dealt with them for a lot now, and it's tough, I must be honest, it's tough to get young men engaged, not just in the Knights of St. Columba, but also in their Catholic faith as well. It's not easy, but we're getting there. I was pleased to go to their leadership summit in West London a few weeks ago. And I walked into the room and I saw a young brother there from Region 5 who was initiated the week before. He had his little jewel on, his little cross on, which was lovely. So we are getting there, we're getting there. And with the fabulous work that Brother Michael Akinray's doing with the youth as well, we can sponsor Flame in 2025, hopefully, and that puts our name right out there with the Catholic students. Back in early part of the year, I was pleased to go to Province 29, who sadly aren't here today, to a recruitment mass with Bishop John Sherrington, and it was a mass solely for recruitment for the Knights of St. Columba. So that was brilliant. If we can get our bishops to do the same across the country, we can't go far wrong with that. Now, sadly, I say no screen with this. A lot of this is obviously visual, all my statistics and graphs. Membership is going up, lapsations are going down. We're nearly in the black, and I'd say because of the last few weeks of membership, we should be in the black by now. First time in a long time, so thank you all for that from the bottom of my heart, because that's not for me, it's not me standing here, it's you guys on the coalface doing that, so thank you very much. The Surrey Shield 2023, I beg your pardon. Last year was Birmingham. Fantastic from Birmingham last year. The winner this year, I'm delighted to announce, is Province 10, Brentwood. So well done to Liam, Andrew and Brother Georgia. Well done. And we'll do the presentations for that later on. You hear this week, you'll hear a lot about this. Me and the Supreme Knight had the honour to meet His Eminence Vincent Nichols, Cardinal Vincent Nichols, earlier in the year. We had tea and biscuits in his house. The way the Supreme Knight was...
even chocolate biscuits.
He was most pleased with the chocolate biscuits. He polished them off, actually. So. And actually, I actually went there with my eyes shut, really, and I thought, what can we do I wanted him to help us to recruit. And he said, guys, I'm not going to get my bishops to help you recruit. You do it yourself. Use St. Columba. Go to Jesus, and everything will come to you. So that's what we're going to do. So our free resource, little plaque there of St. Columba, he's the man we need to return to. Then we return to Christ, and we will flourish. That's what he said. And it was fabulous, wasn't it, Worthy Supreme Knight, when he said that? It was unbelievable. We were delighted. The membership action plan. I've been asked the membership action plan, and it's a pity I haven't got the screen up, but it's pretty simple. Recruit and retain. That's our membership action plan for the year ahead. Recruit and retain. I'm not going to spend hours writing stuff no one's going to read. Recruit and retain. That's it. Enough. And so far, so good, brothers. You're doing a fabulous job across the country. And we had a wonderful chance this year to increase our presence across the country. And I've got to say a big thank you to Brother Sean Smith and Brother George Johnson for this. They've had a fabulous year with the Relic Tour. St Columba, St Andrew and St Margaret has gone across the country from here, all the way down to the south coast and back up again. And it was fantastic. I can't thank you both enough for that. Brilliant. And of course, driven from the front there, from the Worthy Supreme Light. So I've just put here, as regards to what members get, obviously everyone's looking for their gimmicks, aren't they? And I did put them on the screen, but our reward will be in the next world, not this one. We don't need to entice men. What we're doing now, as Catholic gentlemen, is pretty special. We're putting our heads above the parapet and we're serving God by serving others. That's our recruitment tool. Being brave with our faith, as His Lordship Bishop Tom said yesterday. So in conclusion, brothers, I say a lot of it's missing on the screen, but in conclusion, brothers, you've all read this time and time again. Nothing is new or going to open the doors to Catholic men to join the Knights of St Columba overnight, just by me conveying my own thoughts standing here today. It's down to all of us to how much we want to make it happen. And if I'm a betting man, if I was a betting man, I think next year we're going to be well up there with members. And I thank you all very much for your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Danny. Brothers, Danny's report is open for debate, brothers. No, excellent, Danny. Very good. Well done, brothers. Nominations now have to be taken for the election of the officer for membership and development. Can I please have nominations for membership and development? Can I have a seconder? Any more nominations? Thank you very much, brothers. Brother Danny, congratulations. Short and sweet. Brother Sean Mulligan, can we ask for the spirituality and welfare report, please? Thank you, Brother Sean. Brother Sean has remiss me of getting your committee here, so I would like to join you at the committee table.
Brother Ray, Brother Ryan. Is Father Ryan here? No, he's not here at the moment. There's only Brother Ray at the moment.
A Liverpool saying his brother Ray no mates.
He's got plenty of mates, haven't you, Ray? Word is Supreme Light, my Lord Bishop, my dear brothers. Spirituality and welfare. Most of it is actually already in my reports. One of the main things that I would want you to look at and concentrate on, which will also help our membership, is looking after our brothers. Everybody here is feeling the economic pinch. All of our brothers are as well, and we must be mindful of that. Our care for our brothers can mean so much to them. Learn about your brothers, and you can pick up a lot. Are they in need of help? If so, that's what we're here for, to help them. If a brother doesn't attend a meeting, a phone call, let them know that they're thought of and cared about. will help to retain a brother. But brothers, our duty to each other knows no bounds. We should care for our brothers, help our brothers wherever we can. In my report, you'll find some helpful tips on how to help brothers with their economical crisis. Things like host the food banks and various debt help that will help them if they need it. Fraternity will only make us stronger. It will never make us weaker. And we remember all of our brothers. Let them know that they are cared for. And brothers, thank you very much for the assistance you have given throughout the pilgrimage of the relics, and many blessings, I hope, have come to those who have helped and those that have venerated the relics. But I have not done all this on my own. Without the help of the brothers, and in particular people like Brother Ray, Father Ryan and Damien Riley, who unfortunately can't be with us as he's waiting for a spinal operation. They have been a great help over the last few years, and I'm very grateful for that. Deceased brothers, thank you to all those that managed to get to Liverpool for the Mass. The next Mass will be on the 7th of June 2025. So there's plenty of notice, so hopefully you won't have things booked up. The other thing, brothers, is when death comes, what do we do? I have been asking for SW3s to be sent within 48 hours. Doesn't seem a lot of time, but it can be done, brothers. I've actually had an SW3 2 hours after a brother has died, so it can be done. The family has sent a letter of condolence and a memorial card in an appropriate time. And any brother that has not been notified, that has died over a month, the letter is not sent. Why? Because you imagine your relative dies and you get a letter a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 2 years later. It's a bit of an afterthought, so it's not sent. So brothers, please send your SW3s in as quickly as you can. In your book, you've got a welfare handbook. I'm going to ask you just to disregard that for the moment. The 2021 handbook, which was agreed by Supreme Council in 2021, there is a couple of slight changes that I would like to make, or things that have come up. The only change that really I've asked or to be put in there is that should a trustee of the benevolent fund, i.e. the grand knight, the immediate past, or the welfare officer, need assistance from the benevolent fund, they would need to stand down from their position before the application is processed. There are a couple of reasons for this, brothers. One, as a trustee, it does cause a bit of a conflict of interest. And secondly, it could well have legal implications. So that's why I've now added that to it. But brothers, looking forward, what I would ask is to increase, look after our widows. The exercise with the widows has proven one thing. We are not, and I repeat, not looking after our widows. We should be. We promised to do so, we should do it. I've spoken to a widow recently that other than 3 days after the funeral, 2-3 years ago, she'd not heard a word from the Knights. That is a sad fact, brothers, and we must change it, and change it quickly. Our widows are important to us. So brothers, word is Supreme Knight, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Brother Sean. I'd like to say one of the things that come out of giving the widows a gift was to discover that quite a few widows, as Brother Sean had said, had slipped through the net. So it was a good exercise for us all to remember what we were actually doing and go and find our widows again. So a lot of them find it. So Brother Sean's report is open for debate. Brother Tony.
About the widows, Worthy Supreme, about the widows. I'm a great person who believes in the name, Tony Britton. Past everything.
What to the Boer War?
Sorry?
What to the Boer War?
Yeah, I got a medal for that as well. No, the brothers, what the brothers have said about widows is quite right. But I'm a bit concerned about this grant to widows, insofar as the Benevolent Fund is there for need, not just to give to anybody. And it sets a bad precedence if we just, in actual fact, without any, I don't know, maybe they can tell me, can somebody give me a logical answer? Did they know how many widows there were in the order before the grant was paid out? How much has we paid out to them? Have we had to draw money on the capital to pay those widows out? All these are questions which should really have been answered before this grant was made. Now, it may have been. If it hasn't, can we have an explanation of why it didn't happen? And the next thing is, could we also be told that it won't happen again without proper supervision?
Thank you, Brother Tony. Brother Jeff.
By the Supreme Knight, Lordship. Brothers, Jeff Butters, Province 37, North Wales. I totally agree with Sean about looking after the brothers. I myself am Spiritual Welfare Officer for my council and my province. Brothers do tend to get themselves a little tied up, and they're a little bit wary about asking for help. If you see any inkling of this happening, go to them, talk to them. But then my next point, I have to agree again about widows. I myself visit our widows at least once a month. I go in just for a chat, just for a cup of tea. If I can't make it 1 month, definitely make it another month. Don't forget, these ladies who are on their own, a month is 4 weeks. They're elderly now, like we are. And it's a long time, 4 weeks, if you're on your own. They were the partners to our deceased brothers, our brothers. We should look after the family. We should go and visit them. There is just one point I want to make that's just been brought up. After the gift of the money that went to the widows, I again went round to make sure that they had it. Because I must admit, close by to the Supreme Night. I was chasing her about. Once you mentioned it, I wouldn't let it go. There are people out there that need that money. They needed it. I went to see one of them. She broke down into tears. She was so grateful that money had come just in time to save her from a very embarrassing situation. Brother Tony, you can't put a price on things like that. I'm sorry. Gifts are what we do. We work for charity. If we've got the money and it's lying there doing nothing, let's give it to somebody that it can do some good to. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Brother Jeff. Brother John O'Donnell.
Well, the Supreme Night, Bishop, I've got to agree with what the brother said there. Sorry, John O'Donnell, Province 1, past Provincial Grand Night. I'm quite moved at what the brother said there, I really am. Over a number of years now, I've been attending the widows in Province 1. I've been visiting them on a very regular basis, not once, not twice, not three. If I'm passing by their door, I go in there. We had a brother who died. His wife is totally, absolutely, totally disabled. She's not left her house in 7 years. She looks after her daughter who's Down syndrome. When this grant came in last Christmas, she phoned me right away and she asked me to come up. She was distraught. The reason was why she was distraught, she lives in a relatively rough part of Glasgow. She couldn't lock her door at night. That grant paid for a brand new door for her and her daughter. She actually had a piece of wood blocking the door against the steps in her hall so that nobody could get into the house at night. She was absolutely overwhelmed at this grant. I had another brother in Province 1, John Fagan. He died. A year later, his wife had to retire. After she retired, she was penniless, and she again called me, and I went up to see her, and she was so happy at this grant. I can't explain how much this is. There's a few other widows I've spoken to, especially my new council 429. It's amazing what this grant has done for them. Well, the Supreme Night.
Brother Michael.
Where is Supreme Night, my Lord Bishop, board of director brothers and brothers. Brother Michael Gallagher, past Provincial Grand Knight of Portsmouth. In my actual council, Farnborough Council, we hold a regular Friday luncheon, normally the last Friday of the month. And to that we invite our widows, and quite a few do respond and come to it. So we try and keep in contact with most of them that way. It also opens a door that means that when we come to our Christmas dinner each year, they're a bit more inclined to come along because they feel they know a few people. So that's one idea to throw out there. And then on the new welfare handbook, Supreme Knight already knows, if you've looked through it, you might be wondering where page 5 is, because it jumps from page 4 of 17 to page 6 of 17. Stop looking, it's not there. There'll be Supreme Knight.
Thank you, Brother Michael. Brother Tony.
Well, the Grand Knight, Brothers, Bishop, Tony Barclay, Province 30, Westminster and Weston. Care for our brothers, a lot has been said about that. Yet we go on and increase the levy by £2 to £62, when 50% of my brothers in Province 30 are housebound, looking after their wives and carers, suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's. My question is, how can I go and ask these brothers for £62 when they are under great financial stress? Cost of living care, the care home costs of £1,200 per week. Most are on national pension, and those with dementia don't even know they are still in the Knights of St. Columba. We need to have the SW4As submitted and judged before the annual levies come out. We are still waiting to hear the approvals for our SW4As for 2022-23. Councils have paid the full levy for these brothers and are waiting for the refund.
Thank you, Brother Tony. Anybody else? Brother Sean, would you like to reply?
Thank you, brothers. Brother Tony, if I can answer your question first. Those in the care home, yes, it's astronomical, some of the prices. Brother Tony's quoted 1,200. Well, I can tell you where I am in London, you're looking at more 2,000. So yes, I fully agree. And for those with dementia and Alzheimer's, I appreciate it. You cannot ask them for money, and you can't go to the relatives. The SW4As, yes. I do try to process them as quickly as I can. But what I would say, brothers, is don't delay paying the council dues. If you have an SW4A in, then what I would suggest is you pay those that are paying, and for those that are on special needs, if you hold back on that until you get an answer. If the answer is yes, sorry, I'll hold on there for a second.
Thanks, Brother Sean. Brother Tony and Brother Charlie, would you like to go and bring in our fraternal guest, please? Brothers, can we be standing to receive our guests? Thank you, brothers. Sean, just a second, Sean. Just a second, sorry. Good morning, Brother John, Brother PJ. Welcome again. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you had a good night last night. Enjoyed our Scottish dancing. Although there was one Irish dance in it for you. And Brother Brian made sure that happened. Thank you very much. Sean, carry on.
Thank you, brothers. As I was saying, pay your dues. Hold back those that you claim special needs for, and then we can sort that out afterwards. If the special needs are granted, then there's no problem. If not, then we can sort out any differences after that. But brothers, do pay your dues. You know, I was always under the understanding that you should be paid by June. I'm still getting special needs now. So, brothers, it needs to be done as quickly as possible, preferably before June. And then the answers can be done. Brother Michael, the handbook. Yeah, I did ask you to disregard that one. But brothers, it will be looked at and possibly released later in time. But the one, if it's accepted with the amendments in it, will go on the website fairly shortly. Brother Jeff, Brother John, I was quite moved by what you were saying. I was saddened. I was angered. Why? Why do we have to wait for a grant to be given by the Board of Directors to know that a wife of one of our deceased members needs help? That, brothers, is disgraceful. We are failing, and we must put that right immediately. So please, when you go back, go to your councils and insist that they look after their brothers, look after their widows. And, as I've been saying for the last 6 years, look after your clergy as well, particularly those that live alone. Brothers, our clergy, our widows, and our deceased members and their elderly brothers need our support, they need our help, they need our prayers. Brothers that are unable to get out, has anybody thought of asking them, do they need help with their shopping? Are they eating okay? Are they able to heat their homes okay? This is what we've got to look at. And again, I refer to what I've been writing over many months, that help is out there. Not just short-term help that we can give them, but the longer-term help. All welfare officers, Grand Knights, at both province and council level, should be aware of what help is out there. People like CAP, if anybody is in debt help, then they can help them. Fuel allowance, pension credits, we should find out a lot more about those. It's our duty. It's our way of helping our brothers long term, not short term, as we can do. So brothers, I implore you to go back to your councils and ask them to look after their widows, their brothers and their clergy, as we are obliged to do. So brothers, regarding the thoughts behind the brothers and the widows, if I may, it was actually proposed by our worthy Supreme Knight, and maybe he can give us a better insight than I can into the reasoning behind it. I know he gave an explanation last night, I believe. So, can I ask you if you could answer?
You most certainly can, brother Sean. Unusual, but there you go. Not surprising. The answer is, to me, is quite simple. The way that things have gone in this country over the last 5 or 6 years, the rate of inflation and everything else that went up at the time, we discussed it as a board as well, brothers. The board made the decision to give this money to the widows. And as I said last night, with the amount of letters that we received, not only from widows that needed it, we actually get some money back, because some of the widows actually says, thanks very much, it was a great pleasure for having that, but I don't need it. So the people that did it, and I believe, I don't think it would have been right to means test widows, because people inherently don't ask for help sometimes. So to go and ask somebody if they needed the money, I thought would have been wrong. And ultimately the board thought it was wrong, because we made that decision that we would give it across the board. If somebody didn't need it, they would come back to us. Yes, and we did. The exercise, as I said 5 minutes ago, led up to the fact that there was quite a few councils not looking after the widows. So what that did was, we gathered up a lot of widows within this order that had slipped through the net. Right, so at the end of the day, we knew we've spent 95,000 at this moment in time. But going back to the communications within the order, we gave 3 different dates for people, for cut-off dates, to actually say that this is the cut-off date when you should have it. We still got at least 5 applications in after those dates, and Brother Sean quite rightly gave us the answer at the last board meeting by saying, why don't they apply through the grant scheme? I'm sure the brothers would, if they required it, would go through the grant scheme. So that's my explanation, brothers. The way that the country is at the moment, and the way that a lot of these people needed it, excuse me, we felt as a board of directors it was the right thing to do. And I'll sit and tell you now, when you look at the finances, we're still sitting with almost £500,000 in the benevolent fund. So we haven't just spent it willy-nilly or gave it away. I believe it was a really good and honourable thing to do, to give the widows that £250.
Thank you, Worthy Supreme Knight.
Sorry, Brother Sean, does that answer your question? Does that explain it for you?
It does. Better than I could have done it, I'll be honest.
That is a compliment.
It was meant as one. But brothers, it does show that we are lacking, and we need to do something about that, and very quickly. So brothers, please look after each other and your widows. And I commend my report for adoption. Thank you, Worthy Supreme Knight.
Brothers, we'd like to adopt Brother Sean's report. Thank you very much. And while you've still got your hands in the air, I forgot to ask for Danny's report to be adopted. Brothers, would you like to adopt the membership development? See, Brother John, it's not only in Ireland that they make mistakes like that about not adopting reports. Brother Sean, I believe you're now standing down from this. Before I ask for nominations or anything, I want to make it clear, you are standing down from this position.
Yes.
You made that known to me a few months back, yeah?
I am.
So before Brother Sean steps down, I would like to say thank you to Brother Sean for his years of service and looking after the welfare and spirituality. He's done a great job over that period of time. He had a very hard act to follow. And you've done him proud, Brother Sean. You've done Brother Will proud to follow in those footsteps. So thank you very much on behalf of the order.
Thank you, Worthy Supreme Knight, and brothers. But I'll be totally honest, I couldn't have done it without the support of my committee. And I thank them very much. Brother Ray, Father Ryan Black, and Damien Riley. And in fact, Brother Will and Brother Peter also gave me a lot of advice, and I appreciate that. And I've been following Brother Will through the province and through the board, and he's a hard act to follow.
Thank you, Brother Sean. Brothers, can we have nominations for a new spirituality and welfare officer? Brother John Kelly. Sorry, Brother John. Brother, can we have a second for Brother Barry? Okay. Any other nominations? Brother John? Can I have a second for Brother Brian? Okay, Brother Sir. Any more nominations? Okay, we'll start with Brother Barry. If you'd like to come up and show me your credentials and have your 3 minutes. Oh, sorry, that's what I was just getting there. Voting strength is 63. I can see them, Barry.
Worship of night, my Lord Bishop, distinguished guest, brothers, Michael Barry Johnston, better known as Barry. I joined the order in 1979 at my home council, Council 60 Carlisle, which is in Province 6 Cumbria. When I joined the council, the Grand Night of the Day allocated to various councils, various committees in the council, so that I'd learn my way. I went on to serve as officers and as Grand Knight several times. I then went on to serve provincial council in various offices, and then again become provincial Grand Knight several times. For the last 2 years, I've enjoyed my period as regional director for Region 2. Met wonderful brothers, made lots of friends, and I'm really enjoying the experience. But it's like a learning curve. I'm serving my apprenticeship on the board. But what's put me in the mind for this position, unfortunately in March I lost my dear wife after 55 years. And as Brother Sean has said, the support you get from brothers, the support I got from brothers from England, Scotland and Wales was absolutely fantastic. And I want to repay the brothers for that fantastic help. So, if it's your wish, brothers, and I'm elected, I'll do my best to do this office. Thank you, Worthy Supreme Knight.
Thank you, Brother Brian. Brother Brian, would you like to show your credentials and come up, please? Thank you, Brother Brian. Thanks.
My Lord Bishop, Worthy Supreme Knight, distinguished guests, Reverend Fathers, brothers, Brian Beaton, immediate past Grand Knight of Province 3. Yes, I would like to be considered for the position of Supreme Director for Spirituality and Welfare. Spirituality can be defined as being essential to a person's being, involving a relationship with God or a higher power. That quality that involves deep feelings and beliefs of a religious nature rather than the physical parts of life, exploring certain universal themes: love, compassion, life after death, wisdom and truth. Some may find their spirituality life intricately linked to their association with a church, temple, mosque or synagogue. Welfare is the aid in the form of money or necessities for those in need, financial and other assistance to an individual or a family. It is of paramount importance that we look after the welfare of every brother and his family. Spirituality and welfare is a very important part of my own life, and it gives me a sense of pride and belonging to in my own community. I joined the order in 2014 in St Kentigern's in Clackmannanshire. During that year, I was asked to set up a council in Kirkcaldy. We started with 3. Within the first year, we got 12. I carried out that duty for 3 years. During my last year, I was asked if I would like to take on the job of Provincial Grand Knight for Province 5, and I've just completed 5 magnificent years as Provincial Grand Knight, and it was a pleasure for me to be Provincial Grand Knight for Province 3. Brothers, thank you very much for listening for me, and I realise how difficult it is for some people to ask for help. I will treat every brother with the dignity and respect we all deserve in the hour of need. Thank you, worthy Supreme Knight.
Thank you, Brother Brian. Brothers, we now have an election. You've got your voting papers in front of you. One name only, Tony. Just the one name on the piece of paper.
And they're both B's, so put the proper name down. Don't Brian's and Barry's making up.
Okay, brothers, so if we can vote now, please.
Brothers, please put your hands right up so the stewards can see them. Thank you.
Brothers, while the votes are counting, we'll carry on. Can I ask the Regional Director for Region 3, Brother George Metcalf, to come up and give your report, please? Brother George. The microphone. Sorry.
George Metcalf, Regional Director, Region 3. My Lord Bishop, by the Supreme Knight. You've all got a copy of my report. I hope you've all read it. But I wasn't elected last year. I became in because of one resignation, and the Regional Director for Region 3 moved on one, and I stepped in to fill his place. Probably as a chance of a little remark I made after Region Council 29's centenary event, and I just said, oh, we could do with some representation from the North East. Thank you, Brother Supreme Knight. So I had a very steep learning curve, and I would like to start off by saying how grateful I am to the Provincial Grand Knights for the support they've given me over the last 12 months. There are changes to the order coming through, presumably, if they are passed, and it affects the provinces in my region. And I don't really want to go too far down that line, because my thoughts, I think, should be left to myself. I shouldn't be influencing people. But the first thing that happened in my tenure is that my own province, Province 4, Northumbria, had 2 councils when I first started. There was Council 29 Middlesbrough, which is my council, and we're actually still recruiting quite actively. In fact, we've got another 4 brothers joining us this year. However, the other council, which was Bertley, had an average age of 86. The youngest brother was 74. And with the best will in the world, they couldn't really do anything. They couldn't even meet because they had nobody who was capable of driving anymore. Now, Bertley is 40 miles from where I live. And as much as I would love to, I wasn't really going to drive through in the middle of winter to do a return journey to take them to meet. And they couldn't even get out the houses, most of them. A former director, who many of you may remember, Terry Ford, died. And I was the only representative from the Knights of St Columba who was able to attend his funeral. And I attended, and I made it obvious that I was a knight, and I was almost moved to tears when his widow came up at the end and made a point of grasping me and saying, Terry lived for the Knights. Sadly, he got dementia. But me being there, representing the Knights, and appreciating that was amazing. I don't know, there's another chap, I think he's worth mentioning. He had 74 years service, Bernard Hearn, and he died this year. And he was my mentor since all the way through. He knew everything. He knew the rules, the regulations, and he was a great guide to me. I just would like to be mentioned. Province 4 had a busy year, as you can see. We had quite a few events, and we still do. We had the relics come to us, and that went very well, better than many people thought. There was a little bit of cynicism, but in fairness, when the event actually came, they were well received, and we had a good reception. I've had support from the director who was my predecessor, and I'd like to thank him very much, because every time I've been stuck, I've had to ring him and say, what do you do about this, Steve? And no matter what time of day or night, he always has the patience to answer me, and I'm still learning. So unless there's anything extra, I think everything in the report is there. You've read it, and I commend that, brothers.
Okay, Brother George. Any brothers from Region 3 want to question George? No? Brothers, can we adopt Brother George's report? Thank you. Brother Peter Sims Coomber, would you like to come up and say a few words? It's on, Peter. It's on. It's already on.
With the Supreme Knight, your Lordship, brothers, there is no report because for the last 9 months I have been in a very bad place, both mental and physical. I feel that I have let all brothers in the region down. I concluded that I would resign from the board, which I did in July. It was accepted by the Supreme Knight, and I thank him very much, but I'm still here until tomorrow. After prayer and a great deal of discernment, I have mentally come out of it. However, physically, my colitis has come back, and I will be seeing the doctor when I return to South Wales. I would like to wish my successor every blessing and have the wonderful time that I had on the board. Thank you, Worthy Supreme Knight.
Thank you very much, Brother Peter. And on behalf of the Order, we'd like to thank you for your service over all these years, and taking on a job at your age as a regional director was a great achievement as far as we're concerned. And thank you for all the work you've done for the Order, Peter. Well done. Can I have Brother George Johnson, Region 5, please? Oh, sorry. My apologies. I'm so used to seeing your emails, George, so we'll go for Brother Martin Cook. Brother Martin, as Father Baptiste says, I keep referring to it, and I think my Lord Bishop mentioned it this morning. All the hairs of my head were counted. There's a few disappeared this morning.
Worthy Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, brothers. My report has been circulated, so I won't bore you by reading it out. It is all there for you. That was written in June, however, so just a few little bits just to add on to the end. I had the pleasure this morning of actually installing Brother Michael Quara as PGK of Province 38. There was a certain symmetry to that because it was Northampton Province, was my very first visit when I first became a regional director. So that's my job now gone full cycle. It's done. I would like to congratulate Brother Alex Rugg, who's the new regional director for Region 5, at least he will be tomorrow. I'll give him what help I can, but I'll be rather glad to step back into the shadows and deal with my own council for a little bit. I would commend all members of the region that I did actually set up a Facebook page. If Brother Alex wants to take it over, that's fine. If not, I'll keep it going. On recruitment, I've been rather fortunate in Lincoln with my own council, so all I can say is for my brothers in Warwick Council, watch out, Lincoln is coming. We'll be overtaking you soon, no doubt. I was representing the SK at the Birmingham Council Youth Drama Awards. They have the Columba Award. What an event that was. If you can imagine a chamber full of about 200 very excited, dramatic young people. Wow, that was noisy. But it was a great occasion. It was a great pleasure to actually be there representing the Supreme Knight. We seem to have had an awful lot of events coming out after COVID. Still, for the first time, that event in Birmingham was the first one since COVID. They'd only just run in their province their first dinner dance since COVID. We're still coming out of it. So hopefully we'll have all of the pilgrimages going again, full blast next year. And I look forward to attending as an ordinary brother. Worthy Supreme Knight. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Mark. Brothers, I won't keep the two brothers in suspense. You have elected Brother Barry Johnson as the new Welfare and Spirituality. And again, Brother Martin, thank you very much for all the work you've done over the years, especially with investments, working with Brother Bertie and with the brothers before me. Thank you very much for all the work you've done for the Order over the years. Thank you, Brother Martin. Could I ask Brother Michael Akinelli for the Youth and Young People report, please? Your one. That's last year.
Worthy Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, our fraternal guests and brothers, my thanks to all councils and provinces who took part in the youth programmes that finished off in 2023 cycle of competitions. It was a successful programme for those provinces and councils that engaged. They have reaped the rewards in the evangelisation of our youth in their area of the country. They have celebrated their young people at their schools and given the order a presence at those schools and given the order visibility with those schools. Other provinces and councils have gone even further, and they have celebrated their young people at their various parishes, and they have reaped even greater rewards by this celebration in front of gentlemen of the parishes, parents, Catholic teaching professionals, etc. The visibility is paying off. Our investment in our youth and young people is worthwhile. It was a joy to attend this celebration presentation to our young people in various locations. In short, we need more provinces engaging and reaping the rewards that are possible. So congratulations to all those that have contributed this past year. The youth seminar will not take place coming forward because of the sensitivity towards costs. Unless, of course, another means of funding it can take place. The largest province that always sent young people to youth seminar is Province 12. And I know there'll be a lot of disappointment in that regards, even to the ones that maybe only send one or two. But we'll keep looking at other means of finding a sponsorship towards that, and maybe even find a cheaper way of doing it. But that's the case as it may be. In the past year, we actually, rather than putting the youth seminar on, we sponsored Youth 2000 for their own youth seminar. We sponsored 3 young people to go to the World Youth Day. And Manchester Council 104 also informed me that they sponsored an individual young person to go to the World Youth Day as well. So I must congratulate them on doing so. We also sponsored the SPUC Youth Conference, which these are partner organisations that we've worked with. I attended the March for Life, and what an experience to go there for the second time. The statue of St. Michael was carried throughout by Catholic faithfuls, and so I must commend Brother John for having that sent down to the March for Life. It was an incredible experience. I must say that I missed my brothers Roger Khan and Michael Gallagher, who attended in 2022 with me, and hopefully in the coming years I'll see you down there again, and maybe some additional brothers will join us. I attended the Simfed Flame at Wembley. The experience will live with me a lifetime, and I look forward to attending again. I witnessed our young people celebrating our faith. Incredible, so inspiring. Part B of my report, I'll just give you a quick summary. The youth report is there before you. Our programme for 2023-24 has been proposed and sent out as in previous years. This has been done after careful deliberation by our Supreme Committee. Change for change's sake is not good, and we have not attempted to engage in this. We have asked you to engage with your contact schools, parish priests, catechists, parish groups on receipt of the programmes so therefore giving them time to plan their dates into their curriculum. Youth dates, posters, rule sheets, they've all been sent out. So let us get our young people involved, please. Collaboration will be our target with various organisations. Guilds of St. Stephen's, conversations have already been started. Simpred, presentation of the Faith in Action Awards, Flame event for young people. Brother Danny mentioned that. So I expect meeting with the director of Simpred to arrange with the WSK, the Worthy Supreme Knight, to join me when we can make that happen. And all the organisations as well will be targeted. Schemes that will help us fundraise has been added to this report, as the proceeds will benefit youth and young people and the order at large. I must commend my report and ask you to the Supreme Knight.
Brother Michael, I didn't mean to ask you, have you got any of your committee members here? And I know you've got a big committee on Zoom. I do apologise. Come on.
Still come
forward,
please.
Is there anybody else on the committee? Brother Dom did say you would need about 12. That's chairs. Brother Michael's report is open for debate. Brother Tony?
Well, the Supreme Knight, I think we have to congratulate Brother Michael on his report. The only thing I would say is, can we cut it down in length?
After reading his report, Brother Tony, only to have 5 minutes like that was well cut
I
down.
was going to what they call it. I was approaching on eternity when I'd finished reading it, especially at my age. No, but seriously, a good report. But if the goodness of it can get lost in the verbiage, because when I was teaching, you know, if you saw an essay that length, you say, "Oh my God." By all means, give us the information, but cut it down to reasonable size so we can understand it, digest it, because we only have 25 minutes concentration times before our minds wander.
Thank you, Brother Tony. Brother Roger. Tom, is that on?
Way Supreme Knight, Lord Bishop, Honour Guests, Brothers, Roger Khan, immediate past Provincial Grand Knight, Province 11. First of all, it's a wonderful report. Again, quite a bit to digest as well. My question is, this is more to the brothers in attendance, not necessarily to the board. When we engage with our young people, is there anyone that's a catechist? Anyone that works with the youth? If not, being a catechist, you can always volunteer to help the church and the young people. I did that 2 or 3 years ago, and I've been invited to a talk with our young people in Chiswick, middle of next month. Again, it is an opportunity. So if you see an opportunity, it is our duty to make sure that we have somebody either doing it or do it yourself.
Thank you, Brother Roger. Brother Roy.
Worthy Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, Supreme Directors, worthy guests, brothers. Roy Hyde Lineker, Provincial Grand Knight, Province 37, North Wales. We had the relics come to North Wales just over a month ago, and when I was at the cathedral, I met a lady there who informed me she was the diocesan youth coordinator. We hadn't had one for a while, and I spoke to her about the youth competitions, and she said to me, "Get all the information to me," and I did. They're now going, she's promised me they're going to every school, way to disseminate information. I spoke to her about the Faith in Action Award scheme. We tried to kick that off pre-COVID. We hadn't had much success. We'd had a few young people joining in. She informed me that it is now online. She informed me that one of the high schools had had 16 young people go through the course, 12 achieving silver and 4 achieving gold. She's told me that the Bishop Peter, is so pleased with the award scheme that he has now recommended that every single confirmation candidate does the award scheme. And now it is online, there is no cost involved. So I would recommend that when you get home, if you can go to your diocese, look up who is the diocesan youth coordinator, get in touch with them, explain what we do, let them know about the youth scheme, let them know about the Faith in Action Award scheme, and just commend the Knights to them. Thank you very much, brothers.
Thank you, Brother Roy. Brother Richard.
Worthy Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, brothers, guests. Richard Mitchell, Provincial Grand Knight in Nottingham. 3 quick points. Can I commend confirmation preparation as a very worthwhile activity for all of us. It is a real help to the youngsters to have somebody.
Try this one.
Okay, thank you, Brother Sean. It's a real help to have people doing confirmation work in the parishes, so I commend that to you. Second point, if Brother Michael could explain, Faith in Action Awards, we used to do them. We used to promote them ourselves. Actually, somehow at some stage they've gone over to SimFed. It strikes me as an example of giving a good activity away to another organisation. Can you just explain the history on that? And the third point I would make, and it applies to Action, the lottery, and Brother Michael's area of expertise. The lottery used to be there, not as a sort of fundraising for the general account. It used to be there as the kitty for good works, actually. And if we reverted to that system, where the surplus on the lottery was completely 100% dedicated to that, we might have less variability between the years of things that could be afforded within the apostolate field and the youth field. Can I suggest that's reinvestigated? It would be possible if the board was able to, within the confines of the budgeting, to top it up from central account resources. But the basic point is that really the lottery was there precisely to support those things and should not be diverted into other things.
Brother Michael.
Worthy Supreme Knight, my Lord Bishop, brothers. Thank you, Brother Michael, for your report. With regard to the competitions, there have been changes to submission dates. I'm already running into problems in putting that out in Province 14 to some of our schools. Having said that, I did pick up 60 paintings from one particular school just before I came up here. But I think this is going to be a struggle if we stick with this 22nd of December date for us going forward, to make sure that the schools react to us at the right time. I think a lot of schools feel they're now doing nativity paintings well before Advent even. The other one, of course, is we have a change to the Easter painting competition. It's now a Lent painting competition. And I'd like a little bit of explanation. We tried to get it at your Zoom meeting about a month ago, but I believe we still haven't really had full clarification why these things have changed. And just referring to the new youth handbook, if I can, in there, on page 12, it states at the moment only one entry from each participating province will be entered into the final round of judging. I know at the moment you're asking us to send 2 or 3, or the first, second and third paintings. So if we're sticking with that, you definitely need to change the handbook again. Thank you, Worthy Supreme Knight.
Thank you, Brother Michael. Okay, Brother Tony, yep.
Worthy Supreme Knight, Your Honour Bishop and brothers, I think Michael has actually covered some of what I want to say, and he put it much better than the way I can put it. Within the report, there is the changes to the competition timelines. We in Province 30 have had a system that works for a decade or more. We have won several winners from there, and we had the National Cup several times. The system works. We pick our winners just before the Christmas break. We have them judged at council level in January, and we judge them at provincial level in February, and then they can make the head office headline. The changes that are being introduced won't allow us to do that. And in order to make sure that the children don't suffer, we will run the competition. But The winners will be rewarded at provincial level only. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Tony. Brother Charlie.
Holy Supreme Knight, Brother Charlie McCluskey, Province 1, Glasgow, and just about past it. It was just on a point of clarification, Holy Supreme Knight, just Brother Richard's comment there when I picked up on what you were asking, Brother Michael. You know, it's a bit historical in the sense that when the Faith in Action Award first raised its head, it was in collaboration with something that our brothers in Ireland were doing at that particular time, and Brother Harry at the time, his brother deputy, you were at the time. Certainly Action picked up on it, and it was brought back to Britain. The Scottish Catholic Education Service hijacked it, and we did fund the start of it, but they hijacked it and it became the Caritas Benedict XVI Award. But in England, Brother Terry Keneally, who was very, very instrumental in pushing and getting that award started, Brother Richard, it was felt at the time that we would not have the resources nor the expertise to carry it through, and therefore SINFED were brought in collaboration to do that, and they would do it better, and it was agreed that we would support SINFED, so I hope that just clarifies that for you, Brother Richard.
Thank you, Brother Charlie. You did that very eloquently, because that was exactly what I was going to say. Exactly. And Brother Terry Keneally has to be commended, and I said that at the time when he took on the SINFED Award. And if you actually look at the SINFED Award books, then the Knights of St Columba are still well represented in there. Brother Cuthbert.
Worthy Supreme Knight, and my Lord Bishop, brothers, Cuthbert Coleshaw, Provincial Grand Knight, Lancaster Province. Yes, Brother Michael, very comprehensive report that you presented to us again, although I would echo previous comments about the necessity of its length, I think. But I wanted to raise an issue which I have raised previously, and of all the pages of your report, I can't see any reference to any initiatives or competitions or anything like that based around environmental matters and environmental issues. Environmental issues, environmental matters are of great interest to young people. It's one of their priority areas that they're really interested in. Environment. It's also an issue that's been raised on numerous occasions by our Holy Father about our care of the environment for the benefit of all. So I would say it would be an act of, our faith in action to be addressing our environmental needs and care of our environment, and seeing if we can motivate young people to act on that, which I'm sure they would, because it's an area that young people are highly interested in these days.
Thank you, Brother Cuthbert. Anybody else? Brother Michael, would you like to reply?
Worthy Supreme Knight, firstly, Brother Roger Khan, I've echoed in things I've written in the past with regards to how and what we should be doing with regards to working with catechists to get them to engage with youth and young people. So I can't say any more better than what you've done. I think you've said perfectly what we ought to be doing. It'll only enhance, and it'll sort of like save us from doing more than what we're doing at the moment by working with people already there, who are established within the parishes. So, yeah. Thank you very much for that. Brother Roy, again, Brother Roy, in things I've written in the past, I've mentioned about working with the diocesan education commissions within all our archdioceses and dioceses. Again, they give us the entry to the schools, and it saves us. All we do then is just follow it up by them wanting to know where the local council is, to which they can actually send whatever it is we offer to the diocesan channel. So the more we can do that, the better. I'm pretty certain Glasgow did have all the competitions on the cathedral website. Maybe they still do, and that's through that kind of initiative. So we all ought to be doing that. The combined Westminster Council, maybe going through the Cardinal and the cathedral there, that would help. that particular new combined province of 41. So it's something that we ought to be doing more and more. Brother Richard, I believe Brother Charlie has actually answered that question with regards to the Faith in Action Award. My predecessor, Brother Terry, invited me to the launch of that at Friend's house off the Euston Road, and that was an incredible day. It was probably like Simfed, the Flame, because it was a celebration of that launch. He asked me to come along, and I went along, and it was one of those kind of scenarios where youth and young people were there, and if I remember correctly, the late Father Donnelly was the lead at that particular launch, and he's long since passed away since then. He was one of the faces that actually took it over from the Knights of St. Columba and helped to develop it to where it is at the moment. But somewhere down the line, we will hope to meet with Simfed and actually put some proposals to them as to how we can get back into being a bit more involved in that. It may be something they may not allow us to, but it's something that we aim to do. And it's something that myself and the Supreme Knight has spoken about on a number of occasions. Hence, the comment there with regards to collaboration is to go back in and try and see if we can talk to them and get a bit more involved in that. Brother Richard, I hope that you mentioned the lottery. I hope you weren't, if I understood you correctly, you weren't saying why was I mentioning the lottery within my report. That wasn't what you were saying, was it? No, exactly. Okay. Now, so the point I've done there is to basically encourage us that we could do a lot more with raising a lot more funds from that particular lottery if we promote it a bit better, if we actually try and sell it at the back of our churches a lot more rather than to ourselves. So that's the point I'm making, and I feel that the amount of money we could raise from that is far greater than what we're doing at the moment. A simple council can raise just £750 selling in one parish of their own lottery similar to our one, and if you multiply that, that's a tremendous amount of money by the number of councils that we have within our order. So it's something I think we can do a lot more, hence why I mentioned that in my report, and I'm pretty certain Brother Stephen will probably talk about that in his report as well. But again, it's like the Olympic rings, we all work together and these things affect all of us, so that's hence why that's in there. Now to Brother Michael Gallagher, problems with the submission dates. This, as Brother Michael said, came up in the first online talk that we had with the wider youth committee, not the committee that the 21 members that I work with normally, but to try and involve the PGKs and the provincial officers of both province and council to try and help how we actually get the message out. That was the objective behind that. I'm getting told that there's a problem with with schools dealing with the dates, and I don't doubt, as Brother Michael said, he's collected some already, that some schools may give us problems, but the majority of schools will not have an issue. I'm not saying you won't have problems. I'm not saying that. In this first year that we've launched it, at the point when it came out, if all of us gave them to those schools at a point where they were basically just starting more or less their school year, it could have been put in as part of their curriculum. If some of us hold it off until October, as some was said on that online that day, you're cutting down the opportunity of the school to actually do something with it. If the school then say no when you give it to them in October, the date is there. The date was deliberated by the committee. The committee is formed from Scotland, Wales, England, Middle England, and down in the southeast. Your province is one of those that are part of the committee. And Brother Alfredo said what he had to say with regards to it, and so did other members. But we deliberated on it. We talked about it. The Scottish schools start at a different time to us. They put up a very, very good fight and reason why we ought to go there. The committee talked about it. It's a Supreme Committee, we talked about it, and we decided to go with that. With regards to the length, I hear what everyone is saying with regards to the period of the year that it's in. My answer is the same one I've given to you, probably personally when we both talked, and even here is the Christmas competition and the Easter competition, just in name only, rather than saying Lent and Easter, are not wedded completely to that period if the schools have it. The RE coordinators can get the children to, the imagery is there, but it's Lent or Easter. Easter is an imagery filled period. So is Lent. That starts, if I'm correct, in Ash Wednesday. There's a lot of imagery there that children can paint successfully. So, what we decided was to alternate between Lent and Easter year on year, not simply call it Lent. It was to alternate with regards to that name, or for that one that takes place in that period. That was what the committee decided. To say it wasn't everything's now going to change to Lent, full stop. No. It's to alternate between Lent and Easter. And it's just to sort of like rejuvenate it and give it a bit more life. That was the objective behind it. But I'm sorry to go back to this original issue of the dates. I sincerely believe, based on having worked with the school for 17 years, being an RE lead, as many of us I'm sure here have done, and working with the RE coordinator on behalf of my council and my province as an Action and Youth Officer, and other schools in our province, if we work with the schools and give it to them at the point when he comes out, I believe that the schools will work with us. I had a temptation to forward all these things to your archdiocese direct. I didn't do that because I didn't want to offend individuals here. But by not doing that, in what Brother Roy has just said, I've actually not helped you. I've not helped you. The SK would tell you, and so would Mari. I asked for, if we had the Archbishop's sort of contact list. I've done it before when I was first elected, so that I can send it to them direct to pass on to the diocesan commissions in each archdiocese and diocese. But I chose not to do that because of how that meeting went that day. Because I felt that certain individuals may see me going around them in order to try and achieve something. If I'd have done it last year, I don't think anyone would have batted an eyelid if I'd have done it this year, but I held off. But that's what I would like to do going forward. It's not to help you, because some of us aren't able to access the diocesan education commissions, and it can only help if it's done from the supreme level as well. So going forward, that's something which I would look to try to do. But I didn't do it this year because I felt there'd be strong feelings and people thinking I've gone around them. So I ask you to please try this. It's not a change for change's sake. A strong case for it was put forward by one of the committee in the country, and we talked about it and went with it. So please, I ask you to please try it, and let's see how we go forward. And I wish you all great success in how you get on. The handbook entry, thank you very much for that. I'll make that change. That was a slip up, and I'll change that. But Brother Tony, do I need to answer yours a bit more? Brother Tony? I think this has been answered, hasn't it?
Brother Michael, you're dealing with children. You cannot give children a competition for Christmas in July. You're dealing with young children, and Christmas for them is November and December, not July.
Okay. Brother Tony, if I can just quickly answer that. Brother Tony, I'm not giving it to children. We give them to their schools, who will then plan it into their curriculum. The children don't get it from us direct. It goes through the school and the RE coordinator and the head teacher. In some instances, if the RE coordinator is actually not the person who's dealing with it. In some schools, the head probably manages it. I've come across that. But we're giving it to them to put into their curriculum at the point of you receiving it, not holding it off for a month or two and then giving it to them. That's what we're saying here. We're not giving it to the children and asking them to imagine something in July. We're giving it to the school, who know what they're doing and are best able to manage the dates. And that's what we've always done. And I hope the provinces who are here, who think about holding it on, or holding on to it for October or early November or whenever, give it to them at the point when it comes out. I think we stand a better chance. And one other thing, a very important thing, is we can't and should not always be thinking of school, school, school. Some of the most successful councils and provinces are ones that have gone through their parishes and have dealt with their catechists. And dealing with it through the parish, they've actually gained more traction and more recruitment that way. We can't keep thinking school, school, school. We need to go through the parish as well. That's where we will actually gain more. We need to keep going through schools and evangelising those children through there. But we also need to be looking at our parish and our parish organisations. Many parishes have parish organisations, whether it's Polish, Portuguese, Syro Malabar, Nigerian, So we can go to the parish organisations and they will welcome us. They'll welcome this competition. In Scotland, when I attended something with Brother Charlie, I was blown away by, I knew that community were there, but being there with many of the Province 1 brothers and Brother John O'Donnell at that time, I still was still the PGK, it was quite an experience, and I hope they develop that, because the children were there, the young people, but I didn't see much coming through them, and that's something that's open to them to do as well. Brother Charlie, thank you for answering the question for me with regards to the Faith in Action Awards. Brother Cuthbert, now, we've dealt with environmental issues before. When we had the COP26, if memory serves me right, we had a competition that dealt with environment. Sometimes in the essay, the subject matter kind of combines faith as well as environment, but I can't and shouldn't put that in every single time. So I'm not averse to not doing and dealing with the environment, but we have done it before. We've done it before. Maybe even in one of the prayers we may have alluded to the environment in the subject matter that was given to the young people. So I fully agree with you. We need to deal with environment. On the Facebook page, I'm constantly promoting things like that, especially the writings of Pope Francis, which deals with a great deal to do with the environment. So we are trying to do that. Word is Supreme Knight.
Thank you, Brother Michael. Excuse me. Brothers, can we adopt Brother Michael's report, please? Thank you, brother. It's adopted. Brothers, can we have nominations for the Director for Youth and... Michael. Seconded. Any other nominations? Brother Michael, congratulations. Okay, go on.
Brothers, if you'll just permit me, I'd like to make the presentation of the Madonna Oaks Trophy. This trophy, as most of you know, is for the council or province, now even region if you want, that is considered to have done the most work with regards to our youth and young people. The current holders are Council 977 Gravesend and Northfleet. But the success that they had and have continued to have, one could think that perhaps they ought to be the winner of this again, but they were reluctant initially, but they were asked to put in a submission. But I'm going to say that the next province that have also had very good success with this, and I believe the success of this now will help them in their fight to not be, how shall I put the right words, not to disappear from the scene, because they're using their youth competition to keep their province visible. And admittedly, they've now been working with a merger with Province 10, but the winner, with your permission, Worthy Supreme Knight, is Province 27.
Congratulations, brother. Jason, well done to Province 27. Brothers, that's perfect timing now. I will stop for a tea break and we'll reconvene at 11 o'clock. Thanks, brothers.